This week on Previews World Weekly, we officially wrap up Free Comic Book Day. Frank Miller comes to Diamond, and we pay tribute to George Perez. It's all happening right now on Previews World Weekly.
What's up, Previews World? It's Wednesday. It's New Comic Book Day, which means it's time for Previews World Weekly. I'm one of your hosts, Troy Jeffrey Allen.
I'm your other host, Ashton Greenwood, aka the Duchess of Free Comic Book Day, and it's going to be one last episode of just like pounding the dirt on Free Comic Book Day before it's next year.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, we kind of have like this lull, right? And I guess it's like summertime, and then it kicks back up again, right? Like around early fall, y'all want to say? Am I right?
Yeah, people start getting like excited around early fall, like October. I start getting a lot of DMs about like when's the list going to come out because we announced the titles for next year in December.
Right. So, this will be the last time that we do a full push until the fall, guys, and then we'll be back at it again. But the anticipation never goes away, so I don't even have to apologize. You guys love it when we tell you about Free Comic Book Day. I know you do. Of course. First, Jovan Rivera Montez. What's up? Yes,
Jovan?
You are indeed first. Dave Brown said, "Fun week." I'm assuming you're referring to this past weekend. Of course, Free Comic Book Day 2022 definitely happened. Definitely went down over the weekend. I was out there navigating comic shops and shopping malls. Believe it or not,
malls. Interesting.
Yeah. I was right in the middle of it. I'll talk a little bit more about that, I guess, a little bit later. But just nerd reunions. A lot of nerd reunions while I was out there.
Oh, I love that.
People I hadn't seen in a while. I just randomly bumped into, and that was great. And just geeking out in public, which isn't advised except for special occasions like Free Comic Book Day. So there you go. So. One thing did happen in particular, right in the middle of Free Comic Book Day, actually, that definitely surprised me, I guess, but not at the same time because we were already kind of bracing for this, right?
Sure.
Like I was actually at the mall and they were doing the comic shop giveaway, and I looked down at my phone and, posting to the Twitter and Facebook or whatever, and then of course I see George Perez passes. He passed away this weekend. Technically he passed on Friday, but I believe the news did not break until Saturday. And so this show will definitely be focused on George Perez at several points, of course, but I want to invite the audience, as Johnny has noted down here, to share your stories, share your convention experiences with George Perez, meeting George Perez, your first time discoveries of his work, anything you want to say about George Perez, let us know in the chat, and then we will go ahead and drop them below. We'll pop them up on screen, just an opportunity to share, which is always nice. 2022 Free Comic Book Day. Around the world, it happened. Yes. So Ashton, what is Free Comic Book Day? Just so we can, just for those who are late, who have no idea, what is Free Comic Book Day?
Yeah, sure. So that's a great question. Free Comic Book Day is an annual event that we put together. It happens every year for Saturday in May. We had, a bit of some reformatting the last 2 years because of the pandemic, but it is the first Saturday in May. That's what you can expect. And there will be a slate of titles available absolutely free at your local comic shop. It's usually in the 40 to 50 range, fluctuates every year, but you can expect about 40 to 50 different titles you can get for free at your participating local comic shop. You can go in, you can pick them up. I do want to point out, because this is something I get questions about every year, Free Comic Book Day guarantees that everybody gets one free copy. So the amount of free copies you get beyond that is up to your shop based on how many they have available, their turnout, whatever. Some shops will let you take 5. Some shops will let you take 1 of each. It really just depends on the size of your shop and the size of their event. And really our goal with Free Comic Book Day is to highlight comic book shops specifically. Our goal is not so much the free comics, that's a nice perk, but it's getting people into comic book shops to see how awesome they are and hopefully make a lot of return customers out of people celebrating.
Absolutely. And like I said, I definitely got to celebrate. I was in the Maryland area. That's our home base, right?
Yeah.
And I got to hang out at Third Eye Comics. And then I went to Greenbelt Mall, which I hadn't been to in a very long time. I took some pics. And Johnny, you can share the pics. Sorry, I cut you off earlier. You started sharing. And I was like, not yet. But I took some pics while I was out. Third Eye was jumping.
Was it bumping?
It was jumping as usual. Like every time I've gone in there, they're always like, there's always just an electric energy to that place, and that was no different this past Saturday. The mall that I went to was a new experience. They had cosplayers, and this community art store called The Space had worked out something with their local library to give away comics, and they had a whole setup right in the middle of the mall, like literally in the middle of the mall.
That is so
And
cool.
yeah, it was really cool. And they had drawing activities. They had a raffle. So yeah, shout out to them because that was actually very cool, like very different. Because I'd never been to. I know they exist. I know people have comic shops in malls and all this other stuff, but I'd never been to a mall free comic book day. So that was actually
Yeah.
pretty awesome. That was pretty nice. So yeah. Also, we will encourage you guys, in addition, George Perez, share your free comic book day stories over this past weekend if you have any. All right. Now it's time for the not free comic books.
The regular comic books.
But they're just as important, actually probably more so. So you got the free comics this weekend. You're looking for something to follow up with. Hopefully we can help you this week. Here is new releases for the week of May 11th, 2022. You know what? You're the returning Duchess. So why don't you lay down some picks this week? I hear you got more than one this week.
You got it. Yeah, I'm cheating this week. I have 2 picks, but that's just because there's my actual pick and then a really cool number 1 out this week that I wanted to like get on everybody's radar because it's such a cool idea. So this new number 1 is called 8 Billion Genies. It's from Image Comics. Charles Soule is writing on it, which he's one of the writers on Undiscovered Country. If you've been around the block, you know I love that book. So I'm excited to see what he gets into here. And basically what this is, it takes the concept of giving somebody a wish by a genie and flips it on its head by giving everybody a wish by a genie, hence 8 billion genies. So at the exact same moment, everybody in the world gets a genie wish and it's going to go horribly wrong. It has to.
Yeah, right.
So I'm excited to see how that goes sideways because I'm sure it'll be great.
Yeah, that seems like that could turn really ugly, actually, now I think
Because you
about
can
it.
like wish other. Can you like wish like this? To me, this brings up all the rules about like what is allowed with genie wishes. Can
Right,
you wish
yeah.
away other people's wishes? Can you wish for more wishes? Like all of
Right.
that.
Right. Where's the rule? Because yeah, the joke is I would just wish for other wishes. Like that's it.
Right.
So yeah, is there actually going to be a cap? Like, what if you wish somebody was, I don't know, you had your ex-girlfriend was back, and your ex-girlfriend's like, I wish that I never met that person. Like, how does that all work? That's a lot of contradiction
Yeah.
there, right? That could get into some interesting stuff. So, yeah, that's very cool. I will definitely check that. Did not realize it was Charles Soule. He's kind of everywhere right now. That's actually pretty
Right.
cool.
He's having
Yeah,
a moment.
he's having a moment. All right. All right, my pick this week. All right. For you people that picked up your Marvel Judgment Day books and you're looking for more Marvel, I feel like this is a great place to start, especially if you went to see Doctor Strange this weekend. My pick this week is Hulk versus Thor, Banner of War Alpha #1. So
Title, my
it
God.
is quite a title. And, so I have an axe to grind, Ashton. I have seen 2 frequent criticisms of the MCU, right? And sometimes they're valid. I'm not going to lie. We'll get into that a little bit later. But one of the things I've heard is that their villains are weak, and all they do is fight each other. All the characters do is fight each other, right? Which is accurate.
Okay.
That is accurate,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
And that's because Marvel characters, they're traditionally their own worst enemy. Like that's a very common theme through all the Marvel stories over the last like 70 plus 80 years, actually. So if Marvel heroes are fighting each other, or their personal demons, I can't be mad at it. And that's what we got here. And that's why I'm excited about Hulk versus Thor, Banner of War Alpha #1. Donny Cates, I've been singing the praises of Donny Cates for a minute here. Donny Cates is currently writing Hulk and Thor, and he's been doing some cool stuff in both of those books. And without spoiling it, I'll explain that in Hulk, Bruce Banner is basically 100% piloting the Hulk, and it's making everyone uncomfortable because he's being very gleeful about it. He's having way too much fun with it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He seems to be throwing a lot of caution to the wind. It's making the Avengers uncomfortable, et cetera, et cetera. And also, without spoiling too much of the issues of Thor, but in Thor, Mjolnir has become self-aware and has basically ditched the God of Thunder. That's the short version of it. I won't
I
give
feel
away
like
much
that's
more.
something we don't need.
No,
Like
I
that's a big concern. Like you have a
yes.
sentient hammer just flying around the galaxy. I'm worried about that.
Exactly. And so both these characters, because of these events in these other Donny Cates books, have kind of turned an interesting corner. They're kind of like they're really kind of turning into these different animals at this point in time,
Oh
which is really
God.
interesting. And now we find out what happens when people stop being polite and start getting real. And that's what
I
this
love
is.
that.
That's what Banner of War is. Now Case is going to have them collide in Banner of War. This isn't a miniseries, actually. So this is just a jumping on point, this particular book.
Mhm.
And so from here, it's going to branch off into Hulk and the Thor comics, and that's where that story is going to stay. So if you have been reading, if you're a fan of Donny Cates, you might as well pick it up. If you're a fan of the Hulk or Thor or both, you should definitely pick it up
Mhm.
because yeah, this is a Clash of Titans for sure. And it's actually is one of the reasons they're doing this is it's the 60th anniversary of Hulk and Thor because they both debuted in Marvel Comics
Mhm.
60 years ago. So yeah, Donny Cates really good at character stuff and just big dumb 90s action.
Right.
I think this will be a lot of fun to read. I also want to point out real quick because since you did another pick, Ashton, the fourth issue of Heavy Metal Drummer is out this week,
Okay.
and that's from Behemoth. I'm looking forward to that. I'm actually behind, as you can see. I've only read number one, so I need to play catch up. So I couldn't pick it with confidence this week. Also, Batman the Knight. You know, I love Chip Zdarsky. He's writing Batman right now, and the trade paperback is out this week. So definitely check that out
Mhm.
for all you people who went to Free Comic Book Day this week and want something new on your plate.
Yeah.
All right. So that's only some of what's available at your local comic shop this week, right? Natasha's here, and she's going to show
Before we
you.
get to Natasha, can I
Yeah.
jump back and do this second pick?
Oh yeah. Sorry, my bad. I totally
That's
jumped over
totally
you.
okay.
My bad.
It's okay that you forgot about me. That's fine.
Oh,
I'm not
sorry.
offended. Okay. My second pick this week is Archie Meets Riverdale. I had to pick it because it's amazing. Like, this is
Oh
such a
yeah,
great
that's right.
concept. It's brilliant. It takes Archie, like your classic, like just like cartoony, cutesy Archie that just like gets into normal high school chaos and has a love triangle. And it makes him meet his serious Riverdale counterparts, like the TV show versions of themselves. It is a perfect multiverse. It's so brilliant. It's hilarious because, of course, like cartoon Archie's going to be like, that guy's stealing my vibe. Like he's saying
Right.
this on the
Yeah.
cover.
Right.
But like
Right.
Archie from Riverdale doesn't care at all. He's got murderers to catch. He's beefing with Hiram Lodge. Like it's just they're so different, and it's so smart to have them interact with each other, especially as part of Archie's 80th. This year is their 80th, so they're doing
Oh
all
wow.
kinds of crazy stuff to celebrate. This
Wow.
is by far the thing I'm most excited about.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah. I remember we were talking about it yesterday, and I was surprised that was your main pick. But yes, nobody puts Ashton in the corner.
Thanks, Brian. I have a lot of feelings.
She has a lot of feelings. It's okay. It's all right. She will not let them go by. That's for sure. She will let you know. All right. On that note, sorry, Ashton. New collectibles this week. Natasha's here. She's going to show you what toys are available at your local comic shop this week. And we come back, we'll get into some news.
Here's this week's rundown of some of the toys, statues, and collectibles hitting store shelves for the first time. Let's take a look inside the Previews toy chest for the week of May 11th, 2022. Be sure to check with your local comic shop for availability. And to see more, head over to PREVIEWSworld.com/toychest. There you'll feast your eyes on more hot new collectibles.
Cool. And you can catch Natasha every Tuesday on Previews World and on Previews World's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. And you can also catch her on Free Comic Book Day's TikTok, where she gives you a rundown of the new toys available at your local comic shop this week. So be sure to keep an eye out for that, and be sure to like and subscribe. All right. News. Oh, is this? I love the idea of a Kanan statue. But that one gives me bad vibes. Rebels or bust.
Okay, I'm so glad someone said this because I was looking at it on the new releases page and I was kind of looking at it. I'm like, I'm not sure who this is. And then I saw that it was Kanan. I was like, that doesn't look anything like Kanan. I'm glad someone else had that same experience. Like, I mean, DST makes good busts, but this one,
Not so much.
was a little confusing.
A little confusing. Yeah, I don't know. Like I've seen that character before. That didn't actually look like him. Maybe there's like an older version of him or something. I'm not sure.
He's pretty old already when you meet him in Rebels, though.
Yeah.
If
I don't know.
anything, it would have to be a younger version, but then he wouldn't have like the strip across his eyes.
I don't know. Yeah, let us know, guys, in the comments if you have an idea. All right, news. Ashton,
Yes,
go do some news.
I'm ready. I'm prepared.
Multiversal news.
Johnny's so creative with these.
He does come up with them, that's for sure.
He has some bangers. Okay, so this week Frank Miller has launched his own publishing company and has signed an exclusive distribution deal with Diamond for the direct market, comic book market, and also for the book market under Diamond Book Distributors. And so this new publishing company will be called Frank Miller Presents. It's an independent publishing company, of course, founded by Frank Miller, who's known for a wide variety of accomplishments, including Daredevil and Daredevil Born Again, and also The Dark Knight Returns, Batman Year One, Sin City 300. He has done it all. I promise you'll probably come in contact with his work at some point in time. So Miller will act as the editor-in-chief, and he's joined by Dan DiDio, the former co-publisher of DC, who will serve as publisher at Frank Miller Presents. And they will be focusing on creating and curating a line of comics to capture Miller's distinct visual style while also a range of talent that ranges from comic veterans to rising artists. And their inaugural slate will include a new Six City comic and a return to Ronin, the sci-fi samurai creation that Frank Miller wrote and drew prior to really fussing out with Dark Knight. And they're aiming for 2 to 4 titles a year, which is fairly ambitious. I'm sure they will do that without any problem. And it'll be a mix of, like I said, new already done with Sin City and Ronin, telling more stories in those universes, and also kicking off new stories.
Oh, okay. Hey, Ashton.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, your sound is cutting out for some reason. Like you sound like the robot overlords are trying to take over your body right now.
I don't know what to do about that.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe try turning it off and turning it on again. I'm not quite sure. I mean, I'll give the short recap, right? Frank Miller and Dan DiDio are teaming up, and they're making Frank Miller Presents, which is going to be a publishing company, which is actually going to be distributed exclusively from our mothership, Diamond. And so one of the things that Frank Miller's promising is a sequel to The Last Ronin and a new Sin City story. So that's kind of big news. That's huge news, actually. So yeah, if you get a chance, keep an eye on PREVIEWSworld.com, particularly PREVIEWSworld.com/catalog. And yeah, keep an eye out for any of his new Frank Miller Presents titles coming that are available to pre-order, because you're only going to get it through previews. That's basically what it means when they say exclusives to Diamond. While Ashton's figuring out, Ashton, you back with us?
I'm not sure. Do I sound better?
You do, yeah. There you go. That sounds much better. There might be a little delay, but I think you're good. So, all right, I will jump into some George Perez talk, guys, and I'm going to remind you guys, hey, in the comments, in the chat, let us know about your George Perez experience, whether you met him at a convention, whether it was, your first encounter with his work, just let us know in the comments. We'll be sure to share them. So yeah, George Perez, if you grew up reading comics in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, I want to say in particular, you likely enjoyed Perez's work. And if you grew up reading comics after, his body of work casts a very large shadow. He is responsible for DC and Marvel's biggest crossovers, and I'm talking about Infinity Gauntlet and Crisis on Infinite Earths, which is pretty impressive. His stories inspired the Wonder Woman movie, both Wonder movies actually, Teen Titans Go, Infinity War, Endgame, and actually the most recent Doctor Strange 2. So he passed away on Friday, May 6th, 2022. He was 67 years old. This is after announcing that he was retiring from comics due to health issues. About 2 years later, in December 2021, after a long, successful career, he announced that he had pancreatic cancer, and doctors estimated that he only had between 6 months and a year to live. Perez shared the news with the comic community on social media, expressing his hope to create sketches and meet with fans as much as possible. What made Perez so unique was his massively detailed artwork. Like he would do stuff that was featuring 20, 30, 40, 100 characters on a page. And which is why he was so great for like teen books in general, right? This is why you saw him in books like Infinity Gauntlet, why you saw him in books like a Crisis on Infinite Earths, because he was just great at multiple characters. And during his career, Perez drew every major character from Marvel and DC, making him arguably one of the greatest comic book artists to ever hold a pencil. And I will also point out that he was a prominent Latin American figure in comics. So definitely continue to share your thoughts in the chat. I can tell you guys my first experience with George Perez's art was actually Future Imperfect, because I was a big Hulk fan around the mid-90s, and I just started reading Hulk, and he did a great 2-issue run that I wish they would actually turn to a movie, in which Hulk's future self becomes an evil dictator. And that was with Peter David, and it was he did not disappoint. He had there's a great two-page shot of basically evil Hulk's Rick Jones's trophy room, and it features all these little Easter eggs from Marvel Comics past, and it's just a level of detail. He went through that entire page and gave you as a reader like just reasons to stay on the page and just keep looking at it, you know what I mean, to keep engaging with the artwork. And I think that's actually one of his greatest gifts. So yeah, it's sad to hear that George Perez has passed, but we've said this a million times, and I will always say this: his work continues on, his inspiration continues on, and again, share in the chat, guys. Let us know what you think. Do we have anything actually, Johnny, down here? Neil first, now George. Not cool. Yeah, I know. Neil Adams and George Perez. It's especially if you're a DC fan, that's kind of like a double punch. I know. What else we have? This story isn't mine, but I was super surprised that George Perez pushed to ink Rob Liefeld's first DC cover, which was the Tales of the Teen Titans. What a crazy way to be welcomed. Yeah, to have like already a legend working on your book out the gate. That's pretty impressive. So yeah, keep the stories coming, guys. We're going to keep sharing, and we're going to keep talking about the George Perez throughout the show. Johnny, it's time to jump in.
Do I sound like a robot?
No, you sound fine. You're good.
Okay. Can you hear this?
Ashton, why you stick your tongue out?
PJ Young saying she sounds like a robot. I knew it.
I know.
Ashton, welcome back to Earth.
Thanks. Glad to be here.
Wouldn't that be the ultimate plot twist? After all this commentary about us hating evil robots, Ashton turns out to be one.
Oh my gosh.
That would be the perfect cover story, though. Like, act like you're you bet against yourself.
Right,
Brilliant.
exactly. Like here's like this propaganda machine that like is meant to throw us off. And next thing you know, we're on to you, Ashton. Your wires are showing. I'm just letting you know.
Thank you, common Earth person.
Right. Hello, thank you, fellow human. So, all right.
Ex Machina Ashton.
No, I don't want it.
All right. On one of these days, I'm gonna have to Photoshop a robot's face on Ashton's head.
I don't want it.
Oh no.
Anyway, yes. Hi, Troy.
Hey, what's up, Johnny? So, Ashton, I know you didn't go to movies this past weekend because you were on vacation. You were out there having a good old time.
I was.
But the rest of us losers went to the movies this weekend to go see Doctor Strange 2.
I mean, I do want to see it. It's not that I don't want to see it. It was just a timing issue.
No, I mean, I can't knock it. Like vacation or movies, I get it. You can catch the movie anytime. But Johnny, can you throw up the spoiler thing at the bottom if you still have it?
Oh yes, let me find that here.
I'm gonna try my damnedest not to spoil much of anything, but just in case, I just want to give people a fair warning.
Yes, because it just came out like not even a week ago. Yeah, give people a chance to see it. So
yeah, we want to give you guys a chance to see it. I'm gonna try not to do so, not to spoil anything, Johnny. I'm gonna ask you to do the same, but I just want some reactions here. So you saw Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. What did you think?
I mean, I think that our thumbnail kind of says it all.
Yeah.
In the multiverse of meh.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, this was less of an MCU film and more of a Sam Raimi film.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I love Doctor Strange. I love the first movie. It came out in like 2016. He's been in other movies periodically, like, Spider-Man, Infinity War, Endgame. He had a brief appearance in Thor, Ragnarok, I believe it was.
Right, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So he's been there peripherally throughout. I don't know what I was kind of expecting from this. I was maybe thinking it would be a little bit more, but I think the Sam Raimi isms kind of show through a little bit more and kind of took me out of it a little bit.
Oh, really? Took you out of it? Okay, interesting.
A little bit. There are certain parts in the movie where I feel like it kind of jumps the shark, and it just kind of, I know, suspension of disbelief. It's a superhero movie, but the same time, it's like, really?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
if I had to give it a score, I'd give it like an 80 or so.
okay.
Maybe
I mean, it's
75.
not horrible. It's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad.
Well, neither was the movie. I mean, I wanted to like it. I love like I said, I love the first one, but just
Mhm.
Can I
it
ask you a
seems like
question?
it's a continuation of another series on Disney Plus to me.
Yeah. That's
Without
fair.
trying to give that away too much. I mean, you can probably guess what that is.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, we can. There's definitely WandaVision nods. Ashton, you said you had a question. What was up?
Yeah, with no context, and not having seen the movie, are your expectations too high?
Oh, Ashton being the devil's advocate here.
No, because I think like having watched Eternals, that kind of brought me back down to reality.
Yeah. Well, no, you know what? Actually, so I was thinking about this actually earlier today. This was the one I was looking forward to the most out of out of Eternals, Spider-Man: No Way Home. Actually, I would even throw it in terms of comic book movies, the Batman. This was the one I was looking forward to the most. And yeah, I know people will say, oh, maybe your expectations are too high. I'd say, I don't know. Let me know if you agree with me on this, Johnny. 60% of the movie I like, 40% of it I do not like.
That's about right. Yeah.
You know,
I'll
and
say that.
that's kind of my overall problem with it. Like I just kind of felt a little it's a little frustrating to watch because there's some really good stuff in there.
Mhm.
And then there's just stuff in there that's like that didn't even need to be here. Like, why are we doing this right now? You know? It's definitely overstuffed. I saw some people comparing it to Civil War, how it kind of
Yeah.
becomes not really Captain America's movie. I've never agreed with that, but and I don't necessarily agree with that here. I think that the Doctor Strange's personal arc is really interesting
Mhm.
because it deals directly with Infinity War, which I thought was kind of unexpected, and I thought that was actually really cool. But yeah, I don't know. I felt like there were a lot of wasted characters. You know, and actually, I will say this: WandaVision kind of failed Doctor Strange too.
How so?
Oh, well, I'll say the last episode of WandaVision still kind of like we already kind of had I think a lot of people had issues with the last episode of WandaVision. And I kind of feel without giving too much away that the problems with Doctor Strange 2 are also the problems with WandaVision's last episode. Like WandaVision's last episode doesn't do enough legwork setting up the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And so some things that happen in this movie seem like, well, that's kind of abrupt. That was my takeaway anyway. I like, I was just, I there's some decisions and I'm like, okay, that's cool, but I wish there had been some more legwork done. And I'm actually the opposite of you, man. Like Sam Raimi did his job. Like I think that the stuff that I liked the most was all the Sam Raimi stuff, and the stuff that I liked the least, was kind of the. I mean, I don't know other way to put it. Like the Marvel by committee stuff, I kind of feel like the stuff that's sort of like, oh well, we got to work this in because we did this thing before, or we got to set up this thing over here. Or, it's a little. That's when it becomes overpacked with things that I don't think necessarily need to be in the movie. So
I don't know about you, but I'm also kind of suffering from a little bit of overkill, just too much multiverse lately.
Yeah. Well,
like you had to deal with that in Loki.
Yeah.
You had to deal with that in Spider-Man No Way Home, and now again in Doctor Strange. It's just the multiverse is kind of permeating like all of these movies lately. And I guess that could be possibly setting up for Secret Wars, maybe, hopefully, to kind of get that idea into people's brains. But at the same time, it's just like enough of the multiverse idea. I get it. There's a bunch of different versions of everyone like all over the place.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to Ashton's point, I think that's kind of the idea. I think that is the idea here is that like we're going to. I saw some people saying that they're going to do Jonathan Hickman's Secret War.
Yeah.
Which I feel like don't get your hopes too much up for that. especially there are certain things in this movie that are key to the Jonathan Hickman Secret War story that this movie kind of kicks to the side pretty aggressively about in the midway point. And they do mention incursions, which is a big fixture in that story. But yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, it's without saying too much, like a mixed bag. Not my favorite thing.
It's hard to say too much, but for anyone who hasn't seen the movie, and if we haven't turned you away yet, if you're just a fan of the movies and not so much the Disney Plus shows, do yourself a favor. Definitely at least go watch WandaVision, because I feel like that is
Yeah.
definitely like required watching for fully understanding like what's happening in this movie.
Yeah.
Um,
Man, I just thought of something too. There's a character on that show that's like not even in this movie, and that's also kind of annoying too. So I don't know.
Anyway, in terms of comments, Bald is saying he agrees 100%. It is a Sam movie, which I definitely I appreciate certain points of that. Like some of his camera work and movement, cinematography is definitely, and editing and pacing is definitely very reminiscent of like Evil Dead 2. It's
Army
of Darkness. So
and that's the stuff I ate up. Like that's the stuff I absolutely loved.
Brian saying the superhero hype this movie.
Wait, hold on.
Oh,
He's about to say something. Don't put that on there. He's about to say something about something in the movie.
What, the Illuminati?
Okay, well,
that's already been.
You ruined it.
No, that's already been. That's been announced through like commercials and stuff.
Oh, has it? Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I haven't watched all the commercials because I try to stay away from this stuff. So I wasn't sure.
The Illuminati's in the movie. It's like the commercials have already said that. So
okay, all right. Well,
High Hopes and Philly delivered great fan service. Illuminati was the best, but Doctor Strange seems less relevant than the other movies he was in.
That's interesting. Okay. I'll say I hated the Illuminati stuff. I just like the longer it went on, I was like, yikes, this is not working at all. That's really unfortunate.
Yeah. And moving on.
Anyway, moving on. Speaking of really unfortunate, Johnny, you got to come back for this because we got to talk about.
Oh gosh,
the Avatar trailer.
Oh.
So actually, I should point out there were a couple of trailers this past week. Actually, it was Obi-Wan. Actually got a trailer last week.
That was last week. We talked about that on our last week's episode because it was on May 4th.
And Weird Al got a trailer as well, right?
Right. I still need to see that.
But yeah, so we talked about this a little bit last week. James Cameron wants to make Avatar movies for the next 6 years, and I didn't expect to see a trailer so soon. But I guess that's what happens when everything's made in computer. You can just bust out a trailer whatever you want to. Ashton. Have you seen this yet? The Way of Water. Any takeaways?
Yeah, so I'm actually less harsh on the Avatar movies than you guys both are. So I think my opinion will certainly differ. I really liked the first Avatar movie. I thought it was fantastic. I also think in the case of this trailer, like you really just can't debate how visually stunning it is. Like it just looks great. It's beautiful. I have questions about the plot, and I think, there's not a lot that was explained here, and I think that was by design, but like, I'm going to be disappointed if it's 3 more movies of just like these people trying to mind their business while humans show how awful they are.
Right.
They really hammered that home in the first movie, and I appreciated that, but if you're just going to rehash that 3 more times, then what's the point? I would love to see some sort of like altercation between like the Pandorans and like another sect of them that are maybe more interested in like modernizing. I think that would be a more interesting take than just rehashing. So I guess that's where I stand right now.
Okay, all right. So, and Johnny, you're just not with it, not feeling it.
No, I said this last week. I think it's just like when the first movie came out, I did need a sci-fi remake of Ferngully, so that's one problem I have with it. Second of all, this movie came out how many years ago? Like the first one, a long time ago.
It's been a minute.
It's been a long time, and it's never garnered that much notoriety as, like, say, Star Wars did.
Yeah.
That would warrant a wait of that long of a time for a sequel.
Yeah. Well, I actually have a theory, right?
14 years, Brian's saying.
14 years? Wait, no. Oh, my God.
I think it has been.
Troy looks like he just...
Wow. Holy crap, yeah. Has it been 14? I think it has been 14.
It's
That's
been
insane.
A minute.
We were saying last week of all the things he could wait this long to remake. I would want a sequel to True Lies sooner than I would want a sequel to Avatar.
Yeah. I'd be
Avatar 2009 is when it was
2009.
Damn.
Okay, wow. Holy crap. All right. So, yeah, I don't know. I have this theory because I know that the previous Avatar, one of the reasons it became one of the highest grossing movies of all time is because it was released in the Asian territories, and they just took to it, just ate it up. So I'm pretty certain they're hedging on the international market, and that we're not the target market. I don't think that we are. Which I think is the case with a lot of things these days. And I also think furries are going to flock to see this. So that's the other part.
You might have a point there. I don't know that the furry community was as visible in 2009.
In 2009, right? Exactly. So I think it's probably going to be bigger than people that we anticipated it will be. Maybe not as big as the first film because it was like one of the earliest 3D movies, right?
Yeah.
And that was his big push. It's like, we're gonna break your mind about how 3D works. And it was very successful at that.
I mean, there were other
Yeah.
3D movies at the time, but I think this is one of the first movies that really, really did it very well.
Yeah. Actually, which was a really good 3D movie. I don't even know if anybody remembers this. Drive Angry with Nicolas Cage.
Hmm.
It's basically like a fake me out Ghost Rider movie, but
What?
it's fantastic. Like it's hilarious, and the 3D was so good. I think was it Blake Lively or Amber Heard actually was in that movie? I can't remember.
Oh
now.
my God.
But yeah, it's called Drive
Amber
Angry.
Heard.
It is Amber
It
Heard, right?
is.
Keep her away from your bed sheets.
Why would it be literally anybody else?
Why would it be anybody? I just as I was saying, I was like, holy crap, that was Amber Heard in that movie. Yes. So Drive Angry, go see it. It's worth it, guys. I don't even know if you can find it anywhere anymore. But what else? We got some more comments here about.
And he said she loved Avatar as a young teenager.
I did too.
Okay.
I was probably a kid, but
Sam Worthington was in all the 3D movies.
Actually, yeah, I guess he was. He was in quite a few of those. Yeah.
One thing I will say about Avatar, we talked about this last week, and that I'm not excited about it, but I did know that the new Avatar trailer was going to be played before Doctor Strange. However, the theater I went and saw it at played it not once but twice.
I bet you loved that.
It was all I could do.
You loved it.
It was all I could do to just not let out an audible "oh" in the middle of the theater. I'm just like, no.
Yeah. I was like, that was just for you. Like, literally, the movie theater was. James Cameron was trolling you. James Cameron watched this show, saw what you said last week, and was like, I got you, Johnny Rose.
Enjoy.
Curse you, James Cameron.
All right. Let's get on to this week's trailer. So one of the books out this week is a title called Grimm by Stephanie Phillips, and it is available to your local comic shop today. So here's a trailer. It's from Boom Studios. When we come back, I'll explain a little bit more about it. All right, and that's Grimm from Boom Studios. That's in comic shops this week. I kind of really like stories about the Grim Reaper. I don't know what it is. I don't care if it's Bill and Ted or Dead Like Me. I love stories about just new takes on the afterlife, and particularly how the Grim Reaper has to navigate the afterlife. The concept here is Jessica Harrow is dead, but her journey has only just begun. Discover the world of the afterlife, where Jessica has been recruited as a Reaper, tasked with ferrying countless souls to their final destination. But unlike the rest of the Reapers, she has no memory of what killed her and put her into this predicament. In order to unravel the mystery of her own demise, she'll have to solve an even bigger one. Where is the actual Grim Reaper? So yeah, if that sounds like your cup of tea, it is on shelves right now. If you're at your local comic shop, I can't talk today. If you're at your local comic shop, swivel to the new release section and check it out right now, because it's definitely available right now. All right, you ready for Social Swamp, Ashton?
Heck yeah.
All right, this is all about you, so let's do it. Social Swamp time.
So as we said earlier, Free Comic Book Day took place over this weekend, Saturday, May 7th. So we wanted you guys to kind of keep the celebration alive just a little bit longer because the event is that awesome. And we want you guys to share with us some of your memories from Free Comic Book Day, pictures, your hauls, your favorite stories, whatever it was. So let's see what you guys had to say. Mary Jo says, I only made it to 3 shops, but I got a good selection of free of both free and purchased comics. I spent a decent amount at each shop. I love using Free Comic Book Day as an excuse to visit shops both new to me and old favorites, including the one I went to at my very first Free Comic Book Day, and fill in my collection.
That's
She
what it's there
shared a
for.
picture of her haul. Man, a lot of good haul. I love haul pictures.
Mhm.
Tirza says, we were so excited we went a little nuts with our haul.
I mean, they filled up the whole back of
That's
their van.
a
It looks
whole
like.
trunk. Like, a trunk filled with comics.
I really hope that is just for the picture and they didn't just like drive home with those comics just like flopping around in there.
Oh, I hope not.
You're gonna get some box corners, guys. Take it easy.
Oh, these are bagged and boarded. That makes me feel good.
Okay.
John says 6 comic book shops in 6 hours, 75 books, 2 boxes, a signed Obi-Wan, a fun day. 6
Okay.
comic book shops in 6 hours is
Holy
impressive
crap.
time.
Wow, that is. He was not messing around. That's actually really impressive. This is how you Free Comic Book Day, guys.
I know, that's insane. Monty says,
Oh, Roy Thomas. Yeah.
met Roy Thomas at Mile High Comics and got my Savage Sword of Conan #1 signed.
Awesome. Awesome.
Kevin says, far too much for one pick. Am I to believe he's got more than is just pictured here? Baby. Missy says, little one dressed as Mirabelle couldn't wait to get home and start reading her comics.
Nice.
Susan says, we attended our first one this year. We got a movie poster, t-shirt, keychain, and many comics. Thanks for the goodies, but most of all, encouraging our young kids to enjoy reading different things. The comic bug in Manhattan Beach, California took good care of us.
Very cool. All right.
Rebecca says, channeled a bit of the Scarlet Witch and a bit of the Sorcerer Supreme.
All right.
We love a crossover. Karen says, at House of Secrets in Burbank.
Nice.
Brian says, I love that there's usually at least one manga title every year. It's true. There's usually about 3 to 4. We try to get a couple in there. Nathan said, this is me when I got home with all my freebies. My local comic shop is Collector's Own Comics and Collectibles in the northern suburb of Clarkson here in Perth, Western Australia.
Oh, wow. Nice.
I'm also rocking an Amanda Connor Free Comic Book Day shirt from years gone by. I look forward to Free Comic Book Day every year, and it's great to have it back again.
Awesome. There's a pic.
Emily, more babies. I love kids at Free Comic Book Day. It's one of my
Gotta get
favorite
them
things.
started young.
Yeah.
Oh, Marina shares her picture from inside of a shop. Look at all these
Nice.
comics.
Yeah, that's actually really cool. That's actually a nice setup. Like it's interesting whenever I go to a shop on Free Comic Book Day, I'm kind of curious of what the setup is. Like,
Yeah.
like how are people pulling books for Free Comic Book Day? Everyone has a different strategy, but that was actually a really good strategy right there. So, what do we got? What do we have here? Joshua Kelly. Oops, sorry, wrong person. Joshua Kelly Howard said, had a sweet time cosplaying at Free Comic Book Day at Ultimate Comics Cary.
Joshua, what did you cosplay as?
Yeah, it's true. Like, yeah, let us know in the comments. Let us know. Yeah, that's just a great time. Like, I showed you guys, I really wanted that Buffy book, but no one had them. I cried a lot. I'm talking the ugly cry face.
An ugly cry. That's facts. Like, I mean, that Buffy book was very, very popular this year.
Okay, nice. That's the yearbook, right? The yearbook concept,
Yeah.
right? TJA loves the grim adventures of Billy and Mandy. Confirmed. I don't even know what that is, actually.
That
What
is actually the first thing I thought of too when you said you like
Oh,
the
really?
Grim Reaper.
I don't know what that is. What is that?
It's a cartoon from Cartoon Network, and they go on adventures with the Grim Reaper, and it's just goofy
Oh,
as
okay.
hell.
All right. Oh, I've seen pictures of that before. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. All right. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. A little not up to date on my Cartoon Network programming these days. Joshua says cosplays X-Men 97 Bishop.
Sweet. If you have a picture, share it on social media so we can see it.
So we can
At
see it.
Free Comic Book Day.
Absolutely. Yeah. Hey guys, thanks for participating in Free Comic Book Day. Thank you to all the stores who participated in Free Comic Book Day. Who else should I be thanking, Ashton?
The publishers that put
Yeah.
together some sweet titles for us to give away.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like it's a good year for comics. It was like a lot of great selection this year. I definitely thumbed through some books this morning just to kind of get through my pile a little bit. And yeah, it was actually some really cool stuff in there for sure. So look forward to next year. Like first Saturday in May. That's the one guarantee is it'll be the first Saturday in May next year. And of course, keep an eye on at Free Comic Book Day across social media to just
Facebook,
keep up
Twitter,
to date.
Instagram, TikTok, and our website.
Absolutely. Old Major Comics in El Paso was also celebrating 10 years of business with Free Comic Book Day. Nice.
Oh, that's so cool.
Nice, nice, nice.
Troy, I want to jump in here because we have a lot of people who are actually saying where their local comic shop was. So if you haven't already commented in or said anything in the comics, let us know where your local comic shop is, where you celebrated Free Comic Book Day, because we'd love to give everyone a shout out to just spread the word about all those great comic shops out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Facts.
All right. No, good looks, Johnny. Good looks. Ashton,
That's
what
me.
is this weekly poll? This week's weekly poll.
Yeah, so this week's weekly poll is in line with us paying tribute to the absolute legend that was George Perez. So we threw out a couple of his most iconic runs and asked you guys, which is your favorite? Your choices are Crisis on Infinite Earths, Teen Titans, The Judas Contract, Infinity Gauntlet, or Wonder Woman, War of the Gods. If you felt strongly about another choice that wasn't there, and a couple people did, you can drop that as a comment. Those count too.
All right, so Johnny's refreshed here. I see we have 74 votes going on.
Yep, we have a few the people that were submitting some other options. Let's see here. He said Judas Contract is king. JLA Avengers should have been listed.
Yeah.
Johnny did say that yesterday, and I was like, okay, sure, whatever. But I felt like these were the big ones, even though JLA Avengers is a huge one.
I mean, that's the problem though. With like Twitter polls, like we're only able to put 4 choices in here.
Yeah.
Like,
Right. Yeah.
Perez has obviously done like a lot more like of amazing work. So
Also a testament to the works of George Perez, because he has a lot of just like classics under his belt, for
Iconic
sure.
work.
Yeah.
Oh, Andy Fox is chiming in with Illusion Comics in Santa Clara, California.
All right.
Nice.
Cool. Thank you, Annie.
Troy, I know I usually like to be the one that kind of votes on this, but I'm going to have to go with your input on this because you are my comic book Sherpa.
Sure.
I love that.
When I need a guide through the world of comics, I turn to you. Now,
you turn to me. Okay.
you have read a lot. You've read a lot more than I have, and I will just preface this by saying I have traditionally been just a Marvel person, so I have only read Infinity Gauntlet. Unfortunately, I know that Crisis on Infinite Earths is like a great story from what I've heard. I've just never gotten around to actually reading it.
Okay.
So
All right.
I cannot speak intelligently on like the other 3 choices. So I'm going to like ask for your input.
You know what? I'm actually gonna go with Judas Contract, because that was actually, I haven't read a lot of Teen Titans, but that's one of the Teen Titans stories I've read that I actually like. I'm like, wow, okay, this is why Teen Titans are cool. So that sort of conversion alone is reason enough for me to like pick Judas Contract. So yeah, I'm gonna go for that one.
All right. So also, if anyone else has any thoughts about it who's watching, let us know what you think out of these 4, like what you would pick. But for Troy, I'm going to say Teen Titans Judas Contract. But it is saying Crisis on Infinite Earths at 38%, Infinity Gauntlet 29%, Teen Titans 21%, Wonder Woman War Gods 21%.
Gotcha.
Brian says he definitely voted for Infinity Gauntlet.
Okay.
He's saying Kapow Comics in Sherwood, Arkansas.
So the funny thing about Infinity Gauntlet is he didn't draw the whole series, which I think is kind of sometimes a point of contention for people.
I think it was Ron Lim, right?
Yeah, Ron Lim did the other half of the series. I'm not sure if there's a story behind that or not. I don't know. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, I mean, Infinity Gauntlet still reads really great to me. So that would have definitely been my other choice. But if I had to make a choice, I'd probably go with Future Imperfect, just because the first thing I ever read by George Perez was George Perez's artwork on it. So yeah. Thanks, guys. Yeah, thanks again for just sharing and just again, like sometimes these polls can be just for trolling, right? Just because we want to troll some people, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes, like they serve a good purpose. For example, maybe there's someone out there who didn't know these works of George Perez, and now they understand that, like, maybe I should read Crisis on Infinite Earths. Maybe I should read Wonder Woman, War of the Gods, something along those lines. So definitely thanks for participating.
Troy, I don't know what you're talking about. We would never troll anyone on
Never.
this show.
Never.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Silly goose.
Never. We do not troll.
Absolutely not. And you know what? I consider a troll being you arguing for something that you don't believe in just to get a rise out of people.
Oh,
so
yeah.
From my perspective, that thumbnail is accurate.
Sometimes we do that. Sometimes I argue points I don't actually believe in.
That's true. No, Ashton does like being devil's advocate. This is true.
I just like to stir the pot.
No, that's fine. That's all right. Actually, Annie has corrected herself. Actually, it is Elusive Comics in Santa Clara, California. So Actually, we have Joshua Kelly Howard saying, "How do we tag you guys?" At Previews World at Free Comic Book Day.
It's true.
Boom, done. And that's pretty much it.
If you tag me on Twitter, I will retweet your picture or Facebook.
Yeah. Please do. Sharing is caring. All right, Ashton, what is this week's comic shop shout out? Speaking of sharing,
this week's comic shop shout out goes to Deep Creek Comics in Chesapeake, Virginia, sent in by John Hill. He says they've recently opened in the Norfolk VA Beach area and he's got to show some love to the new shops. And I absolutely agree. So if you happen to be in that area, maybe show them some love. So we will show you some pictures inside of that shop at the end of the show during the credits roll. If you want us to shout out your local comic book shop on the show, find us on social media, tag your shop. If they don't have a handle, just leave their name and use the hashtag #SupportYourLCS. We'll find your shop, shout them out on the show, and give them some love.
Schmout.
I also can't talk today.
It's okay. Yeah, I'm slurring my words today. I don't know what that's about. All right. Actually, no, I was going to say Norfolk. Every time I hear Norfolk, it sounds like a slur or something. I don't know what it is.
How you say it.
It just sounds like a bad word. I don't know. It's just every time
Norfolk?
see, it sounds like a bad word.
That's how you say it. Where are you from?
I mean, I am from this area. Well, I mean, but we can't really claim Norfolk as DMV, can we? We could barely claim Baltimore. I guess so. Yeah,
DMV?
I don't know. Yeah. See, you're actually the DC people and the I guess what Northern Maryland people, they call it DMV was DC, Maryland, Virginia. But once you hit Baltimore, it's cut off. So
Baltimore's a weird place to be sometimes.
Well, Baltimore's its own animal, and
Yeah.
I think that's totally fair. And I don't think Baltimore necessarily wants to be clumped in with us, and we don't want to be clumped in with them. So,
Valid.
all right. Here's a reminder. Oh, is this Brian Blows? The Thanos Come and Get Me cover for Infinity Gauntlet was one of the best. Yeah, it's a great cover. That is an excellent cover. All right. Here's another reminder: like, follow, subscribe. You can hang out with me at Previews World. You can hang out with Ashton at
Free Comic Book Day, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok.
By the name. And here's also actually, we didn't remind you guys about this last week. Actually, yes, we did because we had Enemy on and we were talking about this, but it is AAPI month, which is Asian American Pacific Islander month.
Mm-hmm.
And it just so happens that Previews World is celebrating our Asian American Pacific Islander creators. We have a section on our site that is just dedicated not just to the books that are available right now, but also some of our past interviews. And we're also going to be filling that section up with more interviews. So definitely with new interviews. So definitely keep an eye on PREVIEWSworld.com. And yeah, just commemorate and celebrate the heritage of Asian Americans all for the rest of the month of May, for sure. I also want to point out there is a Previews exclusive lunchbox that is available right now, and you guys don't want to miss this. It's a Ghost Rider one, and there is a Marvel Comics X-Men #1 one, which is actually pretty cool. So this was the classic Ghost Rider right from the 70s, and then the X-Men #1, of course, it's the X-Men from the 90s. It's the Jim Lee X-Men, and these are Previews exclusives, which means you can only get them through Diamond. You can only get them from Previews World. So definitely reserve your copy, and you can reserve your copy with Previews World Pull Box, which is free and available to you. All you got to do is sign up, select the local comic shop, make sure it's a participating store, and they will reserve yours and lock it in for you, and you can pick it up upon release. So yeah, check those out. Previews exclusives, can't miss them. Very cool. And I guess that's it for Previews World Weekly, right?
I think we did it all.
I think we did it all. We did it all. Probably too much, but that's okay.
We did a lot this episode.
We did a lot this week. Yeah, you know what? Actually, we did do a lot this week. There's a lot of things that happened this past week. I was talking with Mia on the show last week, and I was like, this past week was a busy week.
Mm-hmm.
This is a big week for nerddom. Like in
It's
between
a banger.
Doctor Strange and the Obi-Wan trailer
Free
and
Comic Book Day.
Free Comic Book Day. It was a lot of stuff going on last week. So forgive us if we're a little burned out, guys. It was a rough one, but it's always in good fun. Guess I missed the stream. Did they like Doctor Strange? I thought it was just okay, not great. Well, you are not alone, my friend. Thank you, vibing with Voorhees, which is actually hilarious.
I love
handle.
that username.
Yeah. Jason Voorhees, #1 fan, besides his mom. That's it for Previews World Weekly, guys. I'm one of your guests. I'm one of your hosts. I'm not the guest.
I'm one of your guests.
I'm one of your guests. I don't belong here. Ashton, do something, anything.
I'm your other guest, Ashton Greenwood. And
we'll see you guys. Spinnerack, yeah. Something like that. Catch you later.
Don't forget that you can catch Previews World Weekly streaming live every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific at Previews World on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Nailed it.